Hello students, I am going to explain the chapter Heat Transfer. Before I start explaining the chapter, I would suggest every one of you to keep ready with a notebook and a pen. Pause the video wherever necessary and try to take running notes which may be essential for better understanding of this chapter. The topics that we cover in this video are as follows. We explain the concept of heat energy, effects of heat on a body, effect of molecular motion on the temperature of the body, change in state. The processes that are involved in the change in state are boiling and evaporation. So we understand evaporation on the basis of their molecular motion, the factors which affect the rate of evaporation. Even we explain boiling on the basis of molecular motion. We understand how does the effect of pressure have an impact on the boiling point of the substance. And as we come to the end of this topic, we have a comparative analysis and differentiate on the points that are including evaporation and boiling. Then we go to a new topic, that is thermal expansion, in which we have linear, superficial and cubical expansion. Linear, which involves increase in length, superficial, which involves increase in area, and cubical expansion, which involves increase in the volume of a substance. Finally, we explain thermal expansion on the basis of molecular motion. We also understand certain applications of thermal expansion in our daily life. At the last but not the least, we understand the variation of density of a substance with the change in temperature, and how does the density of water, which is bit different from other substances, varies with the change in temperature. In this video, we understand the concept of heat energy. From our previous learning knowledge, we know that heat flows from a body at higher temperature to a body at lower temperature till both the bodies attain the same temperature. For example, you touch a piece of steel with your hand, or you touch your pencil box with your hand and go to the kitchen and touch a bowl which is having boiling water with your hand. You will feel the difference. When you touch the bowl which is having boiling water in your hand, you feel much hot and you instantly move your hand aside. Because the reason is your body is at a lower temperature, whereas the bowl having boiling water is at a higher temperature. And as I stated before, that heat always flows from a body at higher temperature to a body at lower temperature. The body which is at higher temperature releases certain amount of heat, whereas the body which is at lower temperature absorbs that amount of heat which is released by the body at higher temperature. Here I am taking into consideration that no amount of heat is being absorbed or being exposed into the atmosphere. So the process of heat transfer or heat exchange between two bodies takes place till a point of time when both the bodies attain the same temperature. And when both the bodies attain the same temperature, no further exchange of heat takes place. And this temperature at which the further exchange of heat stops is known as thermal equilibrium. Fine. Now, let us say that we have not imparted any amount of heat to two substances, a piece of wood in my right hand and a piece of iron in my left hand. I have not imparted any amount of heat. They both were at room temperature. Now what do you feel? The piece of wood in your right hand doesn't feel to be much cooler, whereas the piece of iron in your left hand appears to be much cooler than that of the piece of wood. Though I have not imparted any amount of heat, neither I have taken out any amount of heat from them, but still we find that both the bodies are at different temperature. So we conclude that heat energy is actually an internal property of the substance. So heat energy is an internal property, by which we mean to say that heat energy is nothing but the sum of the internal kinetic energy. The kinetic energy is possessed by the molecules of the substance due to their motion, and the internal potential energy, and the potential energy is due to the position of the substance inside the body. I mean the position of the molecules inside the body. So if we add them together, the internal kinetic energy and the internal potential energy, we get the heat energy possessed by the substance. So in short, what is heat energy? Heat energy is nothing but the average of the internal kinetic energy and the internal potential energy possessed by the molecules of a substance.